welcome back from the break. You're still watching Africa's finest breakfast show, Global Morning, and it's the second part of our discussions as we reach the business end of Global Morning. We'll be talking with the publisher of Indigo newspaper and the president of Chief Ogbuefi Chibuzo, who is live in the studio. We're so honored to have him join us on Global Morning to get his take as regards the state of the nation, as we look at the party crisis in the country. How to entrench internal democracy is what we'll be looking at. Also, we'll be looking at the Northern Elders Forum, or Northern Elders who have said they regret voting President Bola Tinubu in 2023. So we'll be looking at what all this means to the nations. All right, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Series. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's look at, we've got a spate of a party crisis across board from the People's Democratic Party, who at a point 60 lawmakers threatening to, defect from the party if the acting chairman of the party does not vacate office. We also have a Labour Party also having crisis, where the NLC has waded into the crisis by insisting that Abure must leave, and meanwhile the National Working Committee is saying Labour does not have the right to meddle into the crisis in the party. We're also not forgetting what's playing out, other APC in other states having their own crisis, and in those states also where the PDP is also having its own crisis with the impeachment of the deputy governor. What do you think is the problem that we're having so many crises across board in the political parties in the country?
Thank you so much, and once again, thank you for having me. Thank you, Nigerians, for listening. You see, our democracy, nobody ever believed that the military was going to hand over. That is where we started missing it. When in 1999, people were still, the main politicians were still skeptical. So people who have nothing to do with democracy, people who, thought that an opportunity has come for them to legitimize their ugly source of whatever, jumped into the political terrain. And since that time, we've not gotten the right people to channel our democracy or to propel our democracy to greater heights. We have been battling with such problems till today. Coming to the question proper, in PDP, yes, PDP shot themselves on the leg, and that's what they are passing through today. During the nomination, that's before the 2023 general elections, okay, they were unable to, understand themselves and agree to a formula, to a platform that could give them, because Nigerians were waiting for PDP to emerge. Nigerians were waiting for PDP to come out with a candidate that will give them what Nigerians were looking for, yearning for. Unfortunately, they were unable to agree. And what is the result? Where we are today. APC had their own crisis. Even during the election, they had their crisis. That is why even for the present president to emerge, they had a lot of problems and whatever, but they were able to manage themselves to maintain the position of maintaining their number one spot in political sphere. Then come the Labour Party. The Labour Party that embraced a movement called the Obi movement, the obedient movement, Obi people. Now, Labour Party embraced them. At a stage, they started fighting amongst themselves. But presently, I do not think what is going on was what the offshoot or aftermath of the election. No. The Labour Party is getting it wrong. Obedient movement is quite different from Labour Party.
Do you think Joe Ajero is beginning to show his true colors? Because he was accused that what played out in the Imo State, where he was manhandled, was him meddling into politics, and the NLC came out to deny that it had anything to do with politics, partisan politics. But with what is playing out right now, do you think it goes to show that Probably George Jeru's NLC is becoming political.
I wouldn't say. I know him I know him to his home. I know so many of his brothers. At least in Port Harcourt, I related with the brothers there. But I know Joe Ajero as somebody who is so stout and stern in taking decisions. And but somebody can change. A lot of things may propel somebody into taking a different decision other than what he is known for. The labor crisis is something that has nothing to do, it's not a question of, the Labour Party, not the NLC matter alone. There are this distrust and internal misunderstanding within the political section of the Labour, of the NLC. Now the NLC now coming in with their own agenda to say Labour Party is our own. It is, you find out the two cannot agree. Labour Party is a political party. NLC has nothing to do, it's not a political party.
But we're told that the certificates of registration is decide in NLC, and the NLC, the Labour Party is an offshoot of NLC, even though the NLC initially denied that. But is that what we're seeing playing out?
Somebody could, I know Zephaniah is my father. Zephaniah Onya is my father. And I cannot just say that Zephaniah should take responsibility of anything I do. I'm not a man. And because I'm a man, anything that comes from me, I should take absolute responsibility to that thing I did. So I believe so much that the Labour Party is a political party. And it was not registered to say, oh, anything the NLC says is what we are going to do. No, Labour Party was registered as a political party and should bear the brunt of whatever action they put to the public or they do. So if anybody is going to blame whether the NLC is interfering or whether personal interest, the clash of personal interest or whatever, or a group of people trying to betray each other, I think these are the things that if they sit together, they could just solve these things. Problems could be solved if we sit within the round table. But we find out that some people are insisting that it should be our own, it should be my own way. For instance, they have tried several times to drag Obi into it. And you see, Obi is not interested in what the crisis they are going into. And you cannot just organize a convention without the National Working Committee of the party giving approval and publicizing it that this convention is going to take place. So that's no place.
But the NWC currently seems to be backing Abure because from Umahia, it was taken to Newi, and they said they duly informed INEC, only for INEC to come out to say they were not aware.
That is what I'm saying, because anybody can come and tell you we informed INEC. There are means of informing somebody who writes without INEC replying you they are going to attend. If the thing was duly properly done, there was much consultation, it will not be everybody loved. If we find before the election and after the election, even during the court processes, Abure has been accorded this right by even equally the obedient movement and everybody. Even when RMB and the Papa came up with their own labor whatever, the Labour Party and the stalwarts stood by Abure and accorded him that respect. If having done that, everybody within the obedient movement and Labour Party is supporting, you should have even capitalized on that to even go to court. Like I read what the woman said about the handling of their finances. No, everybody expected Abure to go to court to challenge what the woman said or to present his paper. Look at my dealings financially. Look at it and clear himself of that mess. That is one. Now coming to other political parties, look at in PDP. PDP is saying that there are people who are bent. Like Ugochine was saying it on television. It was on national television that Ugochine was saying that, look, I am not the only person who is saying this, that there are a lot of people who are bent on killing this political party. And they've said it times without number. They've said it, they made it public. It is not a thing anybody is now saying, oh, we did not hear them say it. There are some people who have vowed to kill PDP. And if they, the 60 members of the National Assembly, can come together to say, one, our caretaker chairman should leave, so that we can pick up another chairman that will reunite us, start working towards the coming together of a People's Democratic Party. It's a very welcome development. And before you know, it's a gradual process. Before you know it now, they win other people. They will no longer be 60. Watch them, it will start growing because they will start gaining grounds. They've said there are letters and counter letters emanating from different quarters, saying the acting chairman recognize people who have moved into another party and that still recognize them as PDP members. But already they are in another political party. It's purely anti-party activity. I mean, anti-party project. And they should not be welcome in any political party. If I am the leader of any political party, and once you commit such an offense, I will not hesitate in calling the National Working Committee or whoever that will support in showing you a way out. Simple example. You mentioned that of Edo. I remember at NUJ where we normally sit down together to exchange rub minds on issues of national interest. When Adams Oshimole was having problems as a national chairman, I told them that this group, ABBA, these musicians from Sweden, they sang a song called Waterloo, and they made mention of something that history book on the shelf. If you leave it undusted, the history will keep on repeating itself. Now, Adams Oshimole left the history book. He forgot that in Enugu, when Okosileze Nwodo was the chairman of PDP, and the same matter came up, that thing consumed him. You watch Adams Oshimole, the same thing consumed him. The same thing consumed the PDP chairman, the former, the second dose. So if you watch out the way things are going, our people don't go, checking the past so as to determine pattern today and determine tomorrow. That's history. And in Edo now, if you watch all the deputy governors that they sometimes remove my own deputy governor in Enugu State. When Sullivan was the yes, Sunday Nyebuchi was removed. But what happened? After everything, the court returned him, but their tenure has expired. It has happened in so many states. This present governor in this present governor in the Southwest, that is now the governor, was almost removed by the it was almost removed by the people. But look at where he is today. So the governors have always seen an opportunity of telling people that Constitution recognizes them as the governor. The deputy governor is my spare tire. Anytime I want to use him, I'll dispose him, I can. That's what is happening in Edo. The governor Obaseki forgot that when they were when they were having crisis in APC, that this guy stood firmly. But even Shabu, I'm not holding forth any of them, but the issue remains that Shabu would have remembered that, look, I fought my Oga Oshimole, and I joined this guy to fight other. Now one day, because the book on the death of J.F. Kennedy says the aftermath of an action, and when you study aftermath of an action, that thing you did today, if you are not very careful, it comes back for you to inhale it, because when you speak to the air takes it goes everywhere. You still inhale that air. So that's exactly what is happening.
Okay, for the political parties, how can they have this internal democracy? Because that seems to be their biggest Achilles, the fact that they don't have internal democracy, they do not respect even their own laws. For instance, the primaries that was held across body, using Edo State as an example, all the parties had issues. There were factions, had parallel primaries. The returning officers declaring one thing, the chairman of the election declaring another.
You see, it's just like husband and wife. Once two people come together, there must be crisis. It depends on the way they manage the crisis. That brings out the man in them, because I do not believe that every man is a man. There are male factors, there are perhaps men, and there are boys. So that you have people who are, you call this person is a man, morning, afternoon, night. He is comprehensively a man. He takes the decision. Where he offends you, he comes there to apologize. And he consults, and he listens to people. This is even what marriage is all about. The coming together of two perfect forgivers, not perfect human beings, no, perfect forgivers. Now, in political party, you find out that all we have been having today is that the highest bidder, the person that brings in more to the table in terms of what we can get, what we can share, that has been the bane of most of these political parties. When it is time for nominations within the party, you find out that what they will be looking at, the committee set up to go for it, will be looking for those who will bring, our party is favoring this person.
Those with the deep pocket.
With the deep pockets, exactly. But
competence doesn't.
Nobody counts about competence in Nigeria. It's just like when you were doing the introduction, you said the Northern elders, they are no longer happy with our president. Our president remains our president. Whether the Northern elders are not happy, the Eastern elders are not happy, the Western elders are not happy, our president is our president. Quod erat frustrandum. It can be changed. Another one is, if you look at the section of people, you have been having it your way all this while, having it your way. Along the line, you are not the only person within that environment. You should be able to accommodate others. You should be able to let others raise their head. Now, they may not be happy simply because this man has decided to take a decision to decentralize the administration. And some people are not finding it funny. I've never seen a city, a capital in any nation on planet Earth, where everything about that thing is centralized one place. It's not possible. If the present administration has said Minister of Agriculture should go to Makurdi, it will develop Makurdi. It will develop the entire Benue State. And you said, I don't know what this other.
Before we go into that, Northern elders talking, in conclusion, in terms of this party crisis, for you, what do you think is the way forward?
Looking inwards, understand that if we don't get it right now, before political tension comes, like the election period comes, it might destabilize them. I urge PDP to think twice. If there is anything or any group of people that should be asked, or that should be suspended, or that should be punished for one political, party betrayal or whatever, they should do it now. If the people are going to repent and say, "Sorry, we are sorry, we are coming back, forgive us," they should forgive them and welcome them back, bring them back. But if they do it at time, it will be late. What happened yesterday, that history will continue. Same with Labour Party. Labour Party should come down and ask themselves, Labour Party, what made us tick in the last election was because there is a movement that entered into it. There is, let me just say this, even in APC, there are obedient movement in APC. Because in some states, they voted for Obi as a presidential candidate and voted their governors and the other in the other political parties. There is this obedient movement, so Labour Party should be very careful. If they lose the obedient movement today, where will they be? So they should be visionary and say, let us now look into this and see how we can. I urge Abure. I urge Abure to, that position is not what makes you your life. If they say throw in towel, let another person come in for your party to move forward, you could listen to that. If it is a thing that you can absorb. This is our Labour Party is our political party. I am not the only wise man there. Let us come together and look into it, and I can throw in the towel.
For the PDP, some are saying the Umar Damogo is an offshoot of Nelson Wike, who has an eye for 2027, and why Atiku Abubakar also has his own people. There's a tussle. That's what is destabilizing the PDP. Do you agree to that scenario?
Exactly, I do. But I must say this. If PDP wants to be exactly the leading opposition party in Nigeria, I am 100% supporting Damagu throwing in the towel.
Why?
He has shown it. He has shown it in every. We in the media, we read a lot. We hear so many things about our leaders. You cannot just tell me that the people who are, sabotaging the party, and you are hobnobbing with them, dancing with them, doing everything with them. It's not possible. So, let us look into the 60 lawmakers. They are not just ordinary members of the party. They are lawmakers. They are representing people. 60 different.
They've come out to say they do not recognize this that body.
Yes. No, PDP can say anything that they. Okosileze said it in his own that he never recognized the court, whatever. But when it happened, how did he end? He was at the Eagle Square. He was not allowed to touch the mic. Adam Soshimole said it can never be. At the end of this, where is he? Uche Secondus is still in court. Where is he? That's why I said the history book on the shelf, if you don't dust it, to say this is how this thing consumed the person, it consumed this other person, I will not allow this to consume me.
Let's just look at in the person of the FCT Minister, Nelson Wike. Some analysts are trying to understand if he's still going to belong to the PDP at the end of the day, or if he would be defecting to the APC. How do you see Nelson Wike's drive going to look?
This is a personal matter.
Yes.
Personally, I love eating swallow like an Igbo man. Some other person like a Yoruba man would like to eat amala and they would, or beans and plantain. Nelson Wike is Nelson Wike. He knows where. There is this adage in Igbo land that says the brave foot knows where it suits it very well to fall. Now, Nelson Wike, if he feels that staying in PDP is the best thing for him, he can go ahead. I'll encourage him. He's a human being. After all, he's our minister. He's the minister of FCT, and I'm in FCT. If I have the way of saying, go ahead with this thing, I'll support him. But if he says he's jumping the gun, he's going to APC, it is his decision, not my decision. I am Obofichibu Zonia. He is Barrister Ezemo Wike. So he is a different person altogether. He knows what suits him. He knows how to lie on the bed. He knows the side that will give him the best sleep. So that's my conviction there.
All right, let's move on to, in case you're just joining us, we're looking at party crisis in Nigeria and how to entrench internal democracy, which seems to be lacking in all the political parties across board. Let's move on to the next talking point. Our guest is still the publisher of the Indigo newspapers right here in the Federal Capital Territory. Let's look at the next talking point, which has to do with the issue of the Northern Elders coming out to say they regret joining votes to vote President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023 presidential election. So we're looking at what the implications are ahead of 2027 and also in terms of governance of the country. Let's look at the Northern Elders coming out, for them to come out to have made that statement. Aside the fact that, like you rightly pointed out, the fact that the presidency tried to move out some very critical agencies to different parts of the country. Do you think they're also disappointed with the economic hardship facing the country and other policies of assault?
With all due respect, I will Northern Elders Forum have disappointed me and the people who reason the way reason. If it doesn't suit you, you are coming out to say that nothing is going on and whatever. Since they've accepted that they conspired and brought the president. Let us support the president to the end. When Buhari was the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, everybody saw what Buhari was doing. And nobody, no Northern Elder Forum, no member of Northern Elders Forum came out and said, my brother, let us stop nepotism. Rather, whatever thing he does is correct. Whatever thing Buhari says, this is the way, nobody queries it. Now, Tinubu has not, it's not up to 1 year in office. Let us allow him and see what he can do. The economic hardship we are facing did not start under Tinubu's administration. My brother, if anybody that thinks very well should know that the past administration, in fact, I don't know how to bury Nigeria. No two ways up. There's no other way to say buried Nigeria. So if Tinubu is saying that these are reforms that could help him in his own way pattern a new Nigeria, let us watch him and support him. Typical example is decentralization policy. And this decentralization policy is paving way for restructuring. The way I'm seeing it through, taking Ministry of Agriculture to Makurdi, taking FAN back to Lagos, taking the operational base of Central Bank back to Lagos, where all the banks have their headquarters. It's a thing it's a welcome development. I'm even suggesting if we could take, I don't know what custom is doing in Abuja. Is there any water in Abuja? Is there any port in Abuja? Apart from airport, what is custom doing here? What is the Navy? What are the Navy? What are they doing here in Abuja? These people should go to various where their services are needed. I don't know. Let us not. I've never seen a country where every part of that country should be assembled in one place. It is never done.
Do you think with the comments of the Northern Elders, it tends to suggest that they might try to truncate the government of Ahmed Tinubu ahead of 2027? Do you think he's going to get
It's not possible. It's not possible. The only outside I'm blaming the present administration is that the National Orientation Agency is dead. If the present administration should empower the National Orientation Agency to carry on the little things they are doing.
How do they empower them?
Good. The policies they are bringing out and where the policy, because you have a policy, there are the rudiments, the ingredients of that policy should be known to you. You ask here this thing to sell it to the public. The public enlightenment arm of the government should carry that thing to the public, and public will see it with you. And not just, one story will emanate from this minister today, the next minister will come up with a different story. It's disheartening. That's why I say National Orientation Agency is dead. They are not working. But if they have empowered a body to carry out the programs and the activities of the government to the populace, to Nigerians will see with them. And it is too early for a section of Nigeria to start criticizing them. There were times people were calling people to come out on the road and start, on the streets and start protesting. Protesting for what? What are we? Yes, there is hunger. Was the hunger caused by this administration? No.
But they allege that the removal of subsidy was a very big factor, and the increase of fuel prices.
My brother, there was never subsidy in the first instance. They were just milking us with that phrase, subsidy.
So what are you implying?
There is no government. What they do is that you see, I can remember one of my friends was analyzing budgets. The late Dr. Amadi was analyzing budgets. He said, you see these $2 billion that this military administration brought under Abacha, that they've just told people, you see this money, don't look at it. This one has gone into their pocket. Nobody should look into it. There's nothing like settling debts or whatever. A lot of people, when you, I don't know how to start. There are areas I'll go into it. It might not be palatable, but let me just say it this way. Subsidy has always been a vehicle to siphon Nigerian economy.
Are you saying fuel are not imported into the country? Are you saying the marketers are not being paid by?
Let me give you an instance. When this government came in, I was on my own mind what I expected them to have done was to look into Port Harcourt refinery and all the refineries we have. Put that money they use in importing fuel. Let us suffer fuel scarcity for 1 month. Let there be a turnaround maintenance, monitored by the government, monitored by a committee set by the president, that this refinery should start working. And if they do it, within 1 month, we will come out of it. There must be a sacrifice for certain things to be done. Nobody wants to eat eba with cold water. You must boil the water. Nobody will, before you eat rice, you boil it. So there is a process to everything. If you don't follow the process, it will not yield you what you are looking for. If the government, this present administration has sat down to say, what we are going to do is let the refineries, I could remember there were stories that people started, chunking out then, that Port Harcourt refinery will start production so and so months. In February, they will start production. Warri will join, Kaduna will join. Till today.
But that was based on the government assurances.
Because if they had taken it upon themselves, the government I'm talking about, if they had taken it upon themselves, remember the crude oil comes here from here, and you take it out. If it is not green, why should we be buying refined products? Why? Our refineries are here. But because some people decided to undo us. That is why we are buying from outside. But we take out, look at the gas. They told us that they want to remove a subsidy on gas. Do they refine gas too? Do they refine gas? Why can't you, the gas that is gotten from our land, you give it to us, you use it and power our electricity? Why should we pay for the incompetence of some people? IGRA was even on television saying that the managers of this electricity are bankers. They're not engineers, they're not qualified. And let us not set those statements aside. Let us look into it and find out, why are we having such problems? So these are the things we have. If the government has said we are going to take refinery as our number one priority, within 3 months they put it. By now the fuel would have come down. The economy will start growing gradually. But there's nothing that is growing. I don't know if you have bought a bottle of water now these days. It's 350. In some places, 300. The cheapest you can get a bottle of water. I went to Enugu. I wanted to drink a bottle of Coca-Cola. They said it's 400 naira. I should have said, look at Coca-Cola that is being put together in 9th Mile. I'll buy 400 naira. Here in Abuja, it's 350 in some places 500 naira. Why should it be? For crying out loud, why? Pure water, this sachet water. The sachet water today, you cannot get it at 20 naira. It is 200 naira in some places. That's 50 naira. Highest to get it is 300 naira. These are not supposed to be.
But, so let's look at going forward now. The way, would you also blame the citizenry in terms of what we're going through, in terms of when the elections come around, election cycles comes around, we still repeat the same cycle, still?
Exactly. If we take the side we are taking, once there is an election, if there is the period of election comes, you will see religion and the tribe being at the forefront. If once we remove religion and remove tribalism, this person ethnicity, this one is my own, and go for that substance, the people that can bring succor to the populace, to Nigerians, the people can look and say, oh, we are Nigerians. Let us look into ourselves and see how we salvage this situation together. If we don't do it, I'm sorry, this style of this thing we are facing will get worse.
Right, let's wrap our conversation up. With what the Northern Elders have said, we also did at a point, we had the Southeast leaders led by Chief Iwaya also coming out to threaten the federal government as regards the number of states given to the Southeast people. We have different regions, leaders of different regions making different comments. Do you think there's need for the different leaders of all these regions to come together so that we can talk Nigeria first rather than regions?
Okay, good. Northern Elders Forum has never looked into that aspect. that it is only in Southeast that we've denied them that equality and the sense of belonging. They've not looked into that one. If you bring it now, oh, other regions have 6, 6, 6, except the Southeast. They'll tell you that in fact, you will see them bringing, saying another, all the northern regions should have 8, 8 before Southeast will be given. They are not seeing it from that angle. That's one. What I don't like is hypocrisy incorporated. That is what we are doing mostly. Like the elder statesman, Chief Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, a renowned engineer, what he said, personally, if anybody should look at what is going on in this country and is chewed, let us just throw away tribalism, religiosity, and say, whoever comes, let that person be somebody that can take care of Nigeria, look into Nigeria and say, this thing is good for Nigeria. If it is not good for Nigeria, let us dump it. Let us have a blueprint about Nigeria, not a blueprint about a section or a blueprint about myself. You know, when the president, our president was coming, he said, Emilokon, Emilokon, Emilokon. And it has happened, Emilokon has Emilokonized Nigeria today. So that is what we should eschew. We should look into this issue, this Nigeria as a nation. Another plus to the president, he set aside some people to look into 2014 Jonathan's confab. And if that document is looked into, if nobody...
Don't you think the presidency is also playing some PR stunts? Because the same presidency had dusted up the Isaac Arosonya's report, but we're yet to see the implementation.
Yes, you know, everybody you wants, at least let it be on paper that they said they are going to adopt Arosonya's submission. And they did not. People will hold them responsible. Oh, you wanted to do this. Why didn't you do it? You told us you are going to do it. Just like they told us that refinery will start working by the by the end of February. We are now in April, and we've not seen Port Harcourt refinery working. We've not seen any of the local refineries working. We hold it as one thing for them. If this Orosonya's commission, they said they are looking into. By the time the commission will say, oh, we've thrown it, take it, and they did not take it, and they've come with the Jonathan's confab, 2014 confab, and they do it, we now look at them that, oh, it is part of their system. They don't keep to their promises or their decisions. It could help Nigeria in the coming election. These people don't respect their words. These people cannot be trusted. Look at this, look at this, look at this. We catalog them and they put it across to Nigerians, and the voting committee will tell them, oh, we can continue with this.
Okay, on the final note, let's look at, we know that since we're talking elections and all that, we know INEC. Some persons have said it's time for Yakubu Mahmoud to exit so that we can have fresh ideas, and the idea of having those in the academia run our be the election umpire should be discarded.
You see, once they mention that name, it pains me to the marrow. Once you mention Professor Yakub, it pains me to the marrow that a man I respect so much, a man that came to the public and said that nothing will stop us from giving Nigerians election at the real time. Nothing will make us not to upload the election election result in real time. The man swallowed his words. The man threw away. Do you know what it means? In a normal parlance where we crack jokes, we say once you get to a PhD, it is called permanent head damage, so that your students can now depend on you. Then this man worked for that to become a professor. It is never an easy feat. And today he messed it up. No Nigerian, even those unborn, will one day remind either his offshoots or anybody close to him that, this thing you did was bad. I know by now he will be regretting. So I don't even want to, once you mention his name or mention INEC, I will always start feeling somehow uncomfortable. By now, even the National Assembly should have even told the president, nominate somebody, let's start doing some work within the INEC system so that we can now think of a better Nigeria. He's not supposed, he's even supposed to throw in the towel a very long time ago. Why should he supervise the election of Edo? Why? He has finished his tenure as far as I'm concerned.
All right, I think that's where we're going to finish our own conversation in the studio right here. I want to say thank you to the publisher of Indigo newspaper in the person of Chief Ogbuefi Chibuzo Onya, who has been talking to us as regards the state of the nation. We looked at two very key issues, talking about party crisis in the country and how to entrench internal democracy, and also on the state of the nation, Northern elders calling out on Tinubu's government, saying they regret voting him into power. And that's been how much we can take on Africa's Finest Breakfast Show this morning. I want to say thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
For always being here for us and giving us very sound analysis of all the talking points.
Thank you so much.
All right, I will go for a quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be wrapping up this program. Stay with us.